is nothing to fear, nothing here will do. Am I over the top? Am I crossing the line? Am I losing my cool right down to the spine? Come and lift me up. Come and lift me up.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious
What's up? Good evening and welcome to the Big Nerd Music Quiz, the music quiz that goes all the way to 11. 8 rounds to test your knowledge of all things musical, from album covers to singles to tours, festivals, genres, eras, band members, instruments, lyrics, and so much more. This is one quiz to put even the biggest music fan to the test. From pop to hip-hop, from R&B to metal, from funk to disco to house to reggae, we'll be testing tonight to see if you have a discerning ear or if you're just plain tone deaf. If you've played before, welcome back. If you haven't, it's great to see you. This is how you play the Big Nerd Music Quiz. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the Big Nerd Music Quiz, part of the Big Nerd Pub Quiz series. You can play the good old-fashioned way using pen and paper. Or you can use the Google form in the link of the YouTube description below. In the description in the video. If you can play as a team or individually, it's totally up to yourself. Open the Google link and enter your email address. Answer the multiple choice questions as they are asked. There are 8 rounds with 6 questions each. There's only one correct answer per question. Well, actually tonight there's going to be one question with 2 marks and another bonus question in the second round, so do keep an eye out for that. Once the quiz is finished, simply hit submit and you'll get your scores at the very end, but stick about and you'll get your answers for the quiz once I read them out. It's recommended that you stream the quiz on a laptop and play using the Google form on your phone or other device. Good luck out there and have some fun. Don't forget to get in touch with Big Nerd Pub Quiz throughout the night. Get in touch with all the different social media channels there. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you're looking for a shout out at any point tonight, get in touch. The best way to do it is via the Facebook Messenger. DM me via the Facebook Messenger and the Instagram page. Share your pics. I love seeing you guys out there playing the quiz. Let me know how you're getting on as well. Use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz and pop the quiz and pictures on your Instagram stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share the YouTube channel with your friends. Like and share button is all on the subscribe button is all in the bottom there. And hit the little bell button to get more notifications of upcoming quizzes. You can play any of the quizzes on Zoom with your family, and you can replay any of these fantastic trivia rounds here that we've done over the last couple of weeks. We're on to week 11 now. But yeah, we've done Disney, football, Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones. Whatever your fandom, we've got it covered. And we've got the general knowledge quiz every Saturday. And the Big Nerd Kids quiz every Tuesday. Okay, hold on to your butts for this one. This is going to be big. It's the Simpsons quiz. We're doing it Monday the 15th of June at 8 p.m. It's the long-awaited, long-requested. Ry Komisky's helping me write that one. Can't wait to present it. It's going to be great. And there's the rest of your lineup for the month. Banterflex is presenting with me the Big Nerd Movie Quiz next Wednesday. We've got Bond, we've got 2000s, we've got horror, we've also got wrestling, we've got Pokemon. Whatever your fandom, we've got it covered. Don't forget, you can buy Big Nerd Pub Quiz merchandise from Northern Ireland Tees. Check them out. Use the code BIGQUIZ for a 10% discount. And if it's into music you're into, then check out Zest FM. I present a breakfast show every weekday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning. It's the Mark Hughes Breakfast Show on Zest FM. You can get that on your internet, your web browser, anything like that. You can get it on an app, on Alexa. Check out Zest FM. It's a great channel. And if you really want to support the quiz, support all the work that goes into making and producing the quiz, you can donate to the Patreon and the PayPal. The links are there. The quiz is always free to play. You can support the work that goes into making it by becoming a Patreon or donating as little as £1. Everyone pays £1 in. It'll make it totally worth my while doing this. It's been absolutely amazing. Once again, I want to thank Declan McKay for helping me write this one. Me and him have collaborated to make you guys a fantastic music quiz, one that everyone is going to enjoy. It's not going to be super obscure. We wanted to make it as varied as we could, and we want to say big thank you to everyone who's been supporting us and watching us over the last couple of weeks. Really hope you're going to enjoy tonight. It's going to be really, really good fun, and I can't wait to show you what we've got lined up. All right, so coming up tonight, here we go, our first round. Time now, 6 minutes past 8 o'clock by my watch, and get ready. Hope you're all settled in and we're ready to start tonight's quiz. Here's round one, and it's always going to be a general knowledge round. Okay, like I said before, 6 rounds, all based on general knowledge stuff about music. Let's test and see how good you are and what you know about the music world. So here we go, round one, question number 1. Might have asked this one in a previous quiz, but it's a good one to kind of jog your memories. But what was the first ever music video ever played on MTV? The first ever music video ever played on MTV. When it was launched back in the early 80s, I think it was 1981. First all music video channel. Do you remember that, guys, when they actually used to play music videos? But what was the first ever music video played on MTV? Round 1, question 2. Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison and Tom Petty made up which supergroup in the late 1980s? You'd pay a fair amount to go see any one of those on their own. But yes, this supergroup made up with 5 complete legends. Bob Dylan, of course, the folk singer legend. George Harrison, guitarist of the Beatles. Jeff Lynne of ELO. Roy Orbison. And Tom Petty of the Heartbreakers. They all made up which supergroup of the late 1980s? 4 options there to test you out. It's round 1, question 2. Round 1, question 3. The Portuguese term for the genre of Brazilian jazz music known as bossa nova translates as what? So round 1, question 3. If you know a little bit of Portuguese, you might get this. But bossa nova, what does it mean? Sergio Mendes there in the Brazil 66. Frequent collaborators with Herb Alpert. Signed him to his A&M record label back in the 60s. Made a very niche genre of Brazilian music world famous. Collaborated a lot. Burt Bacharach. I actually saw Sergio Mendes last year at the Royal Festival Hall, front row. It was brilliant. Fantastic stuff. But looking for the Portuguese term for the genre of Brazilian music, which is known as bossa nova. Translates into what? Round 1, question 4. Which artist opened the Woodstock Festival of 1969? So the famous Woodstock Festival, held in the late 60s in upstate New York, in a big field, considered to be one of the greatest music festivals of all time. Surprisingly, a lot of artists, there was a lot of notable omissions. Bob Dylan didn't play, the Beatles weren't there, the Stones weren't there. Stones would go on to later play Altamont. The Byrds didn't play. So there was a ton of groups that actually were not there. But you had legendary performances from Crosby, Stills, Nash, The Who, Jimi Hendrix. But who opened the legendary Woodstock Festival of 1969. Round 1, question 5. Another jazz one, but which jazz musician produced the multi-platinum selling albums Off the Wall and Thriller for Michael Jackson? Two of the biggest selling albums of all time. I think Thriller is one of the biggest selling albums of all time, if not the biggest. But yes, these two musical geniuses butted heads and made two of the best albums ever made, really. But yes, which jazz musician produced the multi-platinum selling albums Off the Wall and Thriller for Michael Jackson? That's round 1, question 5. And your final general knowledge question of the evening, round 1, question 6. And Medeca and I debated this the other night, and I've backed this up with facts. But which of these artists was the biggest selling singles artist in the UK during the 1980s, during the entire decade? Shakin' Stevens, Wham, The Smiths, or Queen? So round 1, question 6. Which of the following artists were the biggest selling singles artist in the UK during the 1980s? I'm saying this, I'm being very clear about this, not albums, we're talking about singles. Okay, so either Shakin' Stevens, Wham, The Smiths, or Queen. Just to say the answer might surprise you. Anyway, there's your roundup for the general knowledge round of the Big Nerd Music Quiz. Just going through those go through those once more. So, round 1, question 1. What was the first ever music track ever played on MTV? 2. Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison, and Tom Petty made up which supergroup in the late 80s? 3. The Portuguese term for Brazilian jazz known as bossa nova translates as what? 4. Which artist opened the Woodstock Festival of '69? 5. Which jazz musician produced the multi-platinum selling albums Off the Wall and Thriller for Michael Jackson? And Shakin' Stevens, Wham, The Smiths, Queen, which of those were the biggest selling singles artist in the UK during the 1980s? Okay, that's got you nice and warmed up now. I hope you're all enjoying the quiz so far. 1 down, 7 to go. Don't forget to like and subscribe and get in touch with me via all the social media channels. I've got a ton of shout-outs to do. First one, actually, I'm going to get out of the way because a big, very, very, very important shout-out to Amy Cochran for writing this lovely article about myself in this week's edition of the Morning Observer. Thank you so much for following the quiz since like week 1. And writing this very, very flattering article. Yes, I'll post it up online. But yeah, thank you so much, Amy, for writing that for me. Hope you're enjoying tonight. And here we go. Round 2. It should be an interesting one for you guys. Let's have a look at it. Round 2 is all about... It's an album cover mashup. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So, I'm going to show you a mashup of 6 album covers into one. All you've got to do is decipher which album is on from the parts. You'll see it when you see it. And there's a bonus round. There is actually a bonus question to this. So apart from the 6 points you can pick up with this particular album cover, you can also pick up a bonus round if you can link the theme between the album covers themselves. Okay, so here we go. Round 2. This is it. This is the album you need to... These are the albums you need to identify. So starting from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6... And the bonus question, like I said at the very end, what links all the albums? Okay, so I'll give you a few minutes on that to work that one out. The corresponding number refers to the album I won question. You'd be able to kind of work out which artist it is based on the grouping of the albums. But yes, 6 very iconic albums covers from 6 iconic groups, artists. And I need you to identify what thematically links the album covers, okay? Or the albums themselves. You have a range of options there. You probably, like I said, there's 1 or 2 there which will look very, very, very obvious. And you'll immediately go, oh, sure, I know that. But maybe not. Maybe there's other ones which will throw you as well. But yes, 6 albums from 6 iconic groups. And then, like I said, it's a good spread. I think I'll give you the years. 77, 71, 1970 or 71, 2002, 95, 69, and I think 2013 or 2014. I'm not too sure about that last one. But what links the albums. I'll leave it up there for a minute or two, get you guys digest the picture. Keep the shoutouts coming in. Like I said, use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz. Again, I can't really talk too much about this. I can't give too many clues away about which one's which. But we'll keep them up for another minute. We're going to keep this up for another minute at least. Don't worry, at any point you can pause the stream, go back, have a look. Loads and loads and loads of shoutouts coming in via the Facebook. The best way, like I said before, is to do it message me via the instant messenger on Facebook. That's the best way to do. And if you're liking the quiz, don't worry, you can replay the quiz at any time. If you're not playing it live, hello, into the future. And like I said, any of the quizzes that we've done before, you can play them again at any point. Go into the playlists, there's something for everyone there. And like I said, I even try to make the general knowledge ones kind of timeless, although there's a fair bit of current affairs stuff in there. But yes, already getting loads and loads of shoutouts coming in tonight. Okay, 30 more seconds on this one. And then we're going to move on to round 3. Okay, 5 more seconds in this, and then we're going to move on to the next round. Alright, so that was the album cover mashup. Hopefully that wasn't too tricky. I know there's a definite, very, very obvious, famous one in the bottom corner there that you'll definitely get. But yes, remember to think what links those albums thematically. Okay, and I'll tell you all at the end. Don't worry, you will get your scores at the end and the answers at the very, very end of the quiz. But we're just gonna keep plowing on, keep rocking on, and we're going on to the next round. Round 3 is all going to be about stage names. All right, so Decky and I sat down and we came up with as many stage names as we could, like for famous artists from past and present. So let's see how you get on in this one. I'll go through them twice and then have a recap at the end, so don't worry if I'm going too fast. So, round 3. Question number 1. Stefani, Joanne, Angelina, I can't even pronounce the last name. Germanotta. So, Stefani, Joanne, Angelina, Germanotta. There we go. Got it in one. So, round 3, question number 1. All just looking for the stage name of this is the real name of the person. What's the stage name? It's that simple. Round 3, question 1. Stefani, Joanne, Angelina, Germanotta. All right. Round 3, question 2 coming up. Oh, lost myself there. Marvin Lee Ade. So that's Marvin Lee Ade. I think I've got that one right. So Declan came up with a massive list and I pulled some of the best ones out of there. Didn't want to do the most obvious ones. Like everyone knows Reginald Dwight, right? It's not a question, but Reginald Dwight is Elton John. Farouk Balsara is Freddie Mercury. But yes, Marvin Lee Ade. Round 3, question 2. Again, from the grouping of the musicians there, you'll probably be able to try to work it out. Or you work out roughly who it could be. From most of the musicians in the options there are all kind of their time. Sorry, this is from the last quiz. Round 3, question 3, Alicia Beth Moore. It's round 3, question 3, Alicia Beth Moore. So, who could that be? Sometimes the clue is in the name. Sometimes it's just completely out there. Sometimes it's such a departure. So Alicia Beth Moore. If you're a fan of this particular artist, you'll probably know. Okay, here's your next one. Round 3, question 4. Probably one which will kind of loan itself to this person's real name anyway. But Georgios Kyriakos Panayatou. Apologies to the Greek community if I'm not pronouncing that right at all. I'm so sorry. But Georgios Kyriakos Panayatou? Is that it? That's it on screen there. So round 3, question 4. Again, could be a clue in the name leading to the actual name itself. Okay, here's your next one. Ah, God, we got. I haven't. This isn't Paul David Houston. That's Marty McFly. I'll get rid of him. Hold on. There we go. So Paul David Houston. Who could that be? Not Marty McFly. It's not Michael J. Fox. These are the slides from the last quiz I did. But round 3, question 5. Paul David Houston. Who could that be? So round 3, question 5. Paul David Houston. Could be a little bit more familiar to those from our shores. That's all the clue I'm only going to give you in that one. And your final question of the stage names ones. Ella, again, I can't pronounce this one. Ella Marija Lani Yelch O'Connor. Yelch O'Connor. So Ella Marija Lani Yelch O'Connor. It's a bit of an unusual one. I wanted to put a kind of tricky one at the end to see how you guys would get on. But Ella Marija Lani Yelch O'Connor. It's round 3, question 6. Okay, there's your roundup of those real names. I'm looking for the stage names of each of those performers. So Stefani, Joanne, Angelina Germanta, Marvin Lee Ade, Alicia Beth Moore, Georgios Kyriakos Paniatou, Paul David Houston, and Ella Marija Lani Yelch O'Connor. All I'm going to say is the answers will surprise you. If some of them are stumping you, they will surprise you, unless you're big fans of these musicians already. All right, don't worry about it. It's 20 minutes past 8. A couple of shout outs to give tonight. Best of luck to Team Sina with Gavin, James, Ricky, Zoe, Donna, and Emily from Jana, and that they're all playing in Portsmouth in England. Good to hear from you guys. Denise is playing in Dublin with her mum. Good to hear from you. Fionn Riley is in Galway. Fionn is a guitar enthusiast and a session musician as well, and he goes on tours all the time, but he's actually chilling his heels back in Galway at the moment. Good to see you, buddy. Kane O'Hare is playing in Warm Point as well. Massive music fan. James, Jess, Vicky, Adam, Sam, Mark, and Danielle are playing in Staines, Morden, and Wandsworth. So yes, keep your shoutouts coming in, and I'll try to give you guys a mention at some point during the night. Don't forget to use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz, and I'll do my best. And like I said, I get swamped with messages, but I'll do my best to give you a shoutout at some point. All right, so our next round tonight. A little bit of a morbid one, this one, but round 4 is all going to be about the 27 Club. Okay, so what's the 27 Club, you're asking? So, for those who don't know, the 27 Club is a kind of infamous kind of curse, or they could say like that, with some very, very famous, iconic musicians who happen to pass away at the age of 27. We're going to show you 6 of these very famous musicians who all died at the very same age of 27 years old. But we want to put them in order of when they passed away. So here we go, round 4, the 27 Club. So there they are, 6 of the most iconic musicians: Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Brian Jones, Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix. So, starting from from the earliest to the latest, try to work out which one is which, and when, or which one was the first to go, and which one was the last. I know, quite a morbid one, this one. But all of these guys, notable musicians and icons in their own right. So yes, Janis Joplin, famous 60s soul singer. Jim Morrison, very little need introduction for him. Jim Morrison was the lead singer of the band The Doors, rose to prominence in LA during the late 60s, early 70s. And created such hits as Break On Through, The End, People Are Strange, LA Woman, like a music icon in his own right. Brian Jones, founder musician of the Rolling Stones. So played a lot of different instruments on the Stones recordings, such as rhythm and lead guitar, keyboards, pianos. He was extremely talented. Kurt Cobain, again, very little needed to be said about Kurt, lead singer of Nirvana, defined an era of Seattle grunge. Sadly, took his own life and became, again, an icon for an entire generation. Amy Winehouse, Queen of Camden, one of the greatest singers of her generation, and such a tragic loss, but an amazing singer and an icon of music. And Jimi Hendrix, he actually started off as a session guitarist for James Brown, I think. Yeah. Went to create the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Came over to England, actually. Lived in the same house beside Handel in Soho. Jimi Hendrix, like, one of the most iconic guitarists of all time, and the most innovative psychedelic guitarists of the late 60s. So the 27 Club, put them in order from the earliest to the latest. So Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Brian Jones, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Jimi Hendrix. We'll leave that up for a couple of more seconds. Let you guys kind of work that one out. So that's round 4, the 27 Club. I think Janis Joplin actually died in the same apartment owned by Harry Nilsson. And Keith Moon died in the same room like a couple of years later. And then Harry Nilsson was like, I don't want to go back to that apartment. It's cursed. But yes, Janis Joplin, Jim, Brian, Kurt, Amy, Jimmy. So obviously a couple of more other names on that list, but those arguably the 6 most prominent of the 27 Club. Alright, okay, 10 more seconds on that and we're going to move on to the next round. Okay, so that was the 27 Club, round 4. We've just come up to the halfway point in the quiz. Time now is coming up to 8:30. A couple of wee shoutouts and points of order before we move on to round 5, and we'll do some more shoutouts at the end of this little section here. But yes, the Stuck in Here With You podcast, they're on to episode 81, and they interviewed me on Monday night as part of their podcast series. Check them out on Spotify, Podbean, and Apple Podcasts. The Lockdown Podcast. To my buddies, Stuck in Here With You. Do check that out. And we've got my mate Paul, who's got the Hot Topic Nightmare. You can check that out on Mixcloud. Paul's writing me the Pokemon quiz, and he and I are going to be collaborating on that. I know we've got a lot of questions about the Pokemon quiz, about how we're going to format it. But yes, do check out Paul's podcast there. He gets friends like us to sit and do topics and talk about things that we don't really know much about. Also, check out the Banterflex site. If you're into your movies, if you're into horror movies, check out Banterflex movie reviews with a Northern Irish accent. They're going to be helping me do the movie quiz next week, and the Fright Club, they've actually written the horror movie quiz, and they're chomping at the bit to get this done. It's going to be later on in the month. Check them out on frightclub.ni. Also, check out Zest FM, my breakfast show in the mornings, every weekday, 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. Basically, I have carte blanche to play any 80s track I want, and today started off with a little bit of reggae and ska, ended up going full heavy metal, so, you know, that's the way those shows go. Last Friday, it went full acid house. So, yeah, you never know what you're going to get. Check out Back to the 80s Breakfast Show with me, from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on Zest FM. And the Nerd Party podcasts, check them out too if you're a big nerd and you want to check out some cool stuff there. Also, Lockdown Lager. These are all messages from my sponsors. So yes, we're entering into a new sponsorship arrangement with Northern Ireland Brew, and they've got a new cool Lockdown Pale Ale to try out in any of those fine off licenses in the province. And you can buy from Northern Ireland Teas, completely different company altogether. They're not one and the same. But you can buy Big Nerd Pub Quiz merch. And don't forget to support the quiz by donating to Patreon and PayPal. All right, so we'll do some more shout-outs for you guys back at home. Don't forget to keep in touch at the end of round 5. We're going to keep soldiering on with the quiz, keep rocking and rolling this evening. The Big Nerd Music Quiz. And here's round 5 coming up. Round 5, second verses. Now, what's that all about? Well, second verses, myself and Decky were sitting here talking the other night about how we could come up with a unique music lyrics quiz. And most people, we came to the conclusion that most people out there, when they're doing karaoke, if they know a song and they're singing along to it, they know the verse, the first verse, and the chorus. But we're going to give you the opening lines of the second verse of some 6 famous songs, okay? You've got to work out what the song is from the list in your answer sheet, okay? So yeah, a little bit trickier, because most people know the first verse and the chorus, and then generally the second verse is not as good. But anyway, round 5, question number 1. Here you go. Here's your first lyric of tonight. Round 5, question 1. The wild dogs cry out in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. Now, it doesn't sound as good when it's spoken by myself, but I'm looking for what the song is. Now, again, from the grouping, you'll probably be able to work out the band, but I'm need the song, okay? The song has seemed so like a resurgence in popularity in the last couple of years, and I don't know why. I think it's okay. It's not. Then I'm gonna get people saying, no, it's the best song ever. But anyway, this is an iconic classic from the 1980s. Round 5, question 1. The wild dogs cry out in the night, and they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. Now, again, it doesn't sound normal when I'm just singing it, not even singing it, just kind of pattering through it. But round 5, question number 1. Round 5, question 2. I never miss a beat, I'm lightning on my feet, and that's what they don't see. Yes, who or what song is this? Again, you can probably work out from the grouping who it is, but what's the hit song? And again, all these tracks are very, very well known. We didn't pick any super obscure tunes. We wanted to make it as accessible and as general as we could. Round 5, question 2. I never miss a beat, I'm lightning on my feet, and that's what they don't see. Can't say that's true for me anyway. But round 5, question 2. Moving on, round 5, question 3. Switch on the TV, we may pick them up on channel 2. Again, doesn't sound as quite dramatic when I just read it out like that. But switch on the TV, we may pick them up on channel 2. Again, from the groupings, you'll be able to work out this is a very famous glam rock singer from the 70s. But round 5, question 3. Switch on the TV, we may pick them up on channel 2. Moving on. Oh, lost my camera there. We will bring my camera back. Bring me up. There we are. Round 5, question 4. Working double time on the seduction line. She's one of a kind. She's just mine, all mine. Round 5, question 4. So working double time on the seduction line. She's one of a kind. She's just mine, all mine. Now bear in mind, this particular group is, you can literally take any of these lyrics and play them over any of their other songs and they sound exactly the same. Not to say they're not an awesome rockin' band, but you know, they're just one of those groups, like, you know, they've got a formula, they stick with it, and it's worked, and they're one of the biggest selling and biggest touring groups out there in the world. Round 5, question 4. Working double time on the seduction line. She's one of a kind. She's just mine, all mine. Round 5, question 5. In Birmingham, they love the governor. Boo hoo hoo. Now, we all did what we could do. I think that might actually kind of give me a clue of what that is, actually. So, Birmingham. Who is the governor of Birmingham? Or what? Birmingham is the capital of which US state? That should actually link you. Should unlock the actual title of that song. Alright, so in Birmingham, they love the governor. Boo hoo hoo. We all did what we can do. And we're not talking about Birmingham in the West Midlands. We're not talking about that brummy. Anyway, so that's round 5, question 5. And moving on to the last one of the lyrics round. God, we're soldiering on pretty fast in this night's quiz. I was beat incomplete, I've been had, I was sad and blue. So round 5, question 6. I was beat incomplete, I've been had, I was sad and blue. I want to say for the record, I'm a massive fan of this artist. And I actually worked backstage at a concert of hers a couple of years ago. Performance wasn't that great, but then again, like I said, I'm a big fan. What can I say? It's one of those things when I sit and realize is, yeah, I really like all her music, and I'm like, yep, you're the queen. Anyway, round 5, Question 6. I was beat, incomplete, I've been had, I was sad and blue. Anyway, there's my guilty pleasure laid out to bear there. There are your round 5 questions round up. So we'll go through them one more time. The wild dogs cry out in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. Round 5, question number 1. Round 5, question 2. I never miss a beat, I'm lightning on my feet, and that's what they don't see. 3. Switch on the TV, we may pick him up on channel 2. 4. Working double time on the seduction line, she's one of a kind, she's just mine, all mine. 5. In Birmingham they love the governor, boo-hoo-hoo, we all did what we could do. 5. I was beat, incomplete, I've been had, I was sad and blue. Alright, okay, so moving on that's the end of round 5. Quick more shout outs here before we move on to round 6. Lisa, I'm always told how to pronounce that by Scott. Lisa and Scott are playing with Carl and Anna, and they're playing against each other via Zoom or Skype or whatever. But yes, hope you guys are beating the other team. I know Scott is an ardent fan of the quiz. Joan McDermott is playing tonight. Sandra and Owen in Leixlip, County Kildare, they're tuned in as well. Hello to you guys. The Thunder household versus the Neville's household. That is probably the most rock and roll team name, or probably the most. Is that actually your actual surname? Because if it is, it rocks. Thunder. Your name is Thunder. Cool. Anyway, big shout out to let us see, Sasha Carr and Sean. It's his birthday tomorrow, and they're playing in Newcastle. I think the one around the corner from me, not the one upon Tyne. Anyway, good to see from you guys, and yes, happy birthday for tomorrow, buddy. And big shout out to Nick and Kate playing in Chesterfield from Clare. Well, that's all the shoutouts for now. Keep them all coming in. Use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz. You know how to get in touch by now. Alright, here we go. Round 5 over and done with. Here comes round 6. And it's all about musical movies. Musical movies is round 6. So yes, as we all know, musicians occasionally foray into the world of acting, or they actually just become subjects of movies themselves. So here we go, round 6, musical movies. Just 6 general knowledge questions about the transition from the stage to the silver screen. So here we go, round 6, question number 1. So released in 1984 and directed by Jonathan Demme, Stop Making Sense featured a famous live performance from which new wave band? So which 1980s new wave band am I talking about here? It's round 6, question 1. It's a great concert movie, and I'm a massive fan of the group themselves. But round 6, question number 1. Released in 1984, directed by Jonathan Demme, Stop Making Sense featured a famous live performance from which new wave band? I'll give you a clue. Big shoulder pads. Alright, round 6, question number 1. Round 6, question 2. In which ancient city did Pink Floyd record and perform their iconic 1971 live concert movie? So yes, this was a concert film released in the early 70s, but actually pre-Dark Side of the Moon. I think they were doing Adam Hart Mother or Echoes. Or sorry, Metal. The albums before Dark Side of the Moon. And like they were pretty big then. But Dark Side obviously in 73 launched them into the stratosphere of like just rock royalty. But in which ancient city did Pink Floyd famously record and perform their iconic 1971 concert? And there was nobody there. The Beatles actually thought about doing it in 1969 with Let It Be, but ended up just going up to a roof in London. Floyd just went and did it. But which ancient city did they do it in? 1971, round 6, question 2. Round 6, question 3. In the film 8 Mile, the semi-biopic of the life of Eminem takes place in which American city? So yes, the film 8 Mile, a semi-biopic. It's kind of loosely based on the life of Marshall Mathers. But what city does it take place in? Another way to look at it, where's Eminem from? It was round 6, question 3. Round 6, question 4. So, A Star is Born, the hit film starring Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in 2018, was actually the 4th adaptation of this story. So which 2 musicians co-starred in the 1974 version? Now you'll notice that the questions here are a little bit different. You need to answer the 2 main actors who obviously Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper played, But who are their 1974 counterparts? You need to answer both of them correctly to get the points. They're not one. The question itself is worth 2 points, but you need to get both of them to get the 2 points. I tested this one out on the kids quiz there the other day. Not this actual question, but this question format. And the Google Docs doesn't allow you. You need to get them right to unlock the double points. So, big list of names there. You need to pick 2 of the correct ones. So who are the 2 leads of the 1974 version of A Star Is Born? One in 1938. There's one in the 50s, there's one in the 70s, and there's one in the noughties. But the 1974 version, that's the one I'm looking for. Remember, 2 correct answers there, and you need to get both of them right for the 2 points at the very end. Round 6, question 5. Which infamous biker group did the security at the Rolling Stones concert at Altamont, as featured in the 1970 film Give Me Shelter? The concert was extremely infamous in that a crowd member died and was killed by the biker gang. So yeah, not a great group to get to do your security. But the movie itself was an iconic telling of the festival. It was a concert movie, and like I said, went on to document that fateful day. It was this Altamont was meant to be kind of like the Woodstock of the West, but then the hippie dream had died, and they say this was the crest of the wave. And it all came crashing down. Round 6, question 5. Which infamous biker group, which infamous biker gang did the security at the Rolling Stones concert at Altamont, as featured in the 1970 film Give Me Shelter? And finally, round 6, question 6. Jersey Boys, the 2014 adaptation of the Broadway musical, is about which American 60s pop rock group? Interesting fun fact. They knew Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci grew up with them. And he's actually in a fictionalized version of himself is in the movie and the stage show. But that's an interesting one. But round 6, question 6. Jersey Boys, the 2014 film adaptation of the Broadway musical, is about which American 60s pop rock group? They're still touring. Or still, some form of their group is still touring. And there's your round 6 roundup. So going over them one more time. Released in 1984 and directed by Jonathan Demme, Stop Making Sense featured with live performance from which new wave band? 2. In which ancient city did Pink Floyd record and perform their iconic 1971 concert movie? 3. The film 8 Mile, the semi-biopic of Eminem, takes place in which US city? 4. A Star Is Born, the hit film starring Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in 2018, was actually the 4th adaptation of the story. I need the 2 names, I need the 2 musicians who co-starred in the 1974 version. Number 5, which infamous biker gang did the security at the infamous Rolling Stones? It was so infamous. Rolling Stones concert at Altamont, as featured in the 1970 film Give Me Shelter. And 6, Jersey Boys, the 2014 adaptation of the Broadway musical, is about which American 1960s group? Wow. So Marianne has just texted in and she says Thunder is her surname. That rocks. That is like really cool. Anyway, so a couple more shout outs to do here. Mark is texted in. He says, Matt is texted in. He says, hope you're well. Can you wish my wife Louise a very happy 14th wedding anniversary? From Matt in Norwich. Good to hear from you, buddy. And thanks for playing again. Always good to hear from you guys. Adam Shepard's playing in. Shout out to Jamie Lyrics. He loves these quizzes, and that's from Adam Shepard. Don't know where you're playing, band, but good to have you playing. Shout out to the McAteer family from the Collins family, and shout out to Claire on her birthday from the Collins family again. Probably didn't get your last one there. That's probably from the 16th of May, but good to hear from you, Jenny. Thanks for playing the quiz tonight. One more before we move on to the next round. Hiya. Can you do a big birthday shout out to William McCrory? It's his birthday tomorrow from the clan. Good to hear from you, Hannah. All right, so keep the shout outs coming in. I'll try my very best to get them done at some point in time. So moving on to the penultimate round of Big Nerd Music Quiz tonight. Hope you're all enjoying it, and it is Missing Members. Alright, I know you guys are going to really enjoy this next round. I'm going to show you 6 boy bands and girl bands from the last 20 years or so. And I've omitted one member from the group. I need you to figure out who the missing member is. You'll have a list on your Google Sheets there. So yes, figure out who the missing band, boy band or girl band member is from this list. Don't worry, I haven't put the Spice Girls in, that's way too obvious. But this next one, let's have a look at it. Alright, round 7, question number 1. So Jason, Robbie, Gary, Howard, and blank. Now, I'm not an expert on boy bands or girl bands, and I, like I said, was doing my research this afternoon, throwing these questions together, and I might have made a mistake in 1 or 2 of them, I don't know. I'm just looking for the missing member here. Go with the text. If I've omitted the wrong one, I know for a certain I've got this one right. But Jason, Robbie, Gary, Howard, and blank. Go with the text. The picture is merely illustrative. But yes, if you check out the length, the missing letters there. So the dash, that's also a clue. I made sure that the dashes at the end corresponded with the length of the name, so that should unlock a couple of clues from you. But this is a very easy one. Round 7, question 1. Straight off the bat, you'll definitely get this. Jason, Robbie, Gary, Howard, and who? Your next boy band, an Irish one this time. Brian, Shane, Marcus, Nikki, and blank. Again, these aren't in any order. I haven't, the band names don't correspond to who's missing, but I'm just looking for the missing face and name here. You'll know these guys. One of the biggest boy bands of the late 90s, early 90s. Kind of came in and replaced Boyzone. Managed by Louis Walsh as well. My sister loved them. I think it was all the girls my age were all into this particular band. All the girls who were older than us in the year above us were all into Take That. And the ones below us were all, into Boyzone. No, wait a minute. Wait a second. All the ones my age were into Boyzone. All the girls younger than us were into this group. I'm not looking for the name of the group, I'm just looking at the name of the missing member. Alright, so round 7, question 2. I'm giving you way too many clues here. Okay, another iconic all-girls group from the 90s. Round 7, question 3. Melanie, Nicole, Shaznay, and blank. Now, 2 of them are sisters, and they're virtually identical, so I might have blanked out the wrong one, but I'm just looking for the name of the missing name here. Melanie, Nicole, Shaznay, blank. And again, the number of dashes corresponds to the length of her name. But yes, a string of big hits in the late 90s. Melanie, Nicole, Shaznay, and blank. Here's the next one. I'm pretty sure I got the right one here. Round 7, question 4. Justin, JC, Chris, Joey, and... So that's round 7, question number 4. Justin, JC, Chris, Joey, and... So who are these guys? Well, you've probably recognized the most famous one in the middle there. Gone on to have an incredible solo singing career and acting career. He's in a lot of movies himself. Justin, JC, Chris, and Joey. Who's the missing member there? Round 7, question 5, a more recent group here. Jade, Jesse, Leanne, and... Who is the missing member there? I know so many of you guys are going to totally get these. This is a good round. This is a good round for you guys. Because I know some of the questions can be a little bit specialist. But round 7, question 5. Jade, Jesse, Leanne, and blank. Who is the missing member there? And your final boy band, girl band question. You'll recognize these guys. Round 7, question 6. Howie, Nick, Kevin, Brian, and... It's 2 letters. And I think I've got the right guy. I remember when I was doing my research on this, I was like, is that the same guy as this guy? But it is. I think it is. But I'm not looking for the person who's pixelated. I'm doing it for illustrative reason. Go with the text. So Harry, Nick, Kevin, Brian, and blank. Round 7, question 6. And we'll go through them one more time so you can get a quick measure of what's what. Round 7, question 1. Jason, Robbie, Gary, Howard, and blank. I think that's the easiest one of them all. Round 7, question 2. Brian, Shane, Marcus, Nikki, and can I just point out, you have to be right with the spelling on this one. Okay, double check this answer. Okay, round 7, question 2. I might have thrown a couple of red herrings in there in terms of that spelling of this name. Round 7, question 3. Melanie, Nicole, Shazney, and blank. Round 7, question 4. Justin, JC, Chris, Joey, and number 5. Jay, Jesse, Leanne, and finally, round 7, question 6. Howie, Nick, Kevin, Brian, blank. All right, hope that was fun. I know, yeah, there's a load of... we wanted to vary up the quizzes. We didn't want to make it all about rock and roll and kind of obscure genre music and stuff like that. But yes, boy bands, girl bands. Hope you all scored well on that one. Coming up, your final round. Okay, so just one point of order before we move on to the final round itself. You will get your scores once you submit the very final answer, but stick about to hear the answers at the very, very end of the quiz. So here we go. Round 8 is all going to be about musical instruments. So yes, artists and big bands out there become obviously famous themselves, but the instruments that they play just become as iconic and become a part of their stage makeup and become legends in their own right. So all I'm going to do is link the artist to the instrument. It's very, very simple. You probably will be able to make out from what they're wearing or like even the instrument itself. But these are iconic guitars and bass guitars from over rock and roll history. Link the musical instrument to the famous musician. So here we go. Round 8, your final round tonight of the Big Nerd Music Quiz. Round 8, question number 1. What is this? This is known as Frankenstrat. It's a Fender Stratocaster, one of the most famous guitars ever made. But yes, heavily customized by this iconic guitarist. The paint job, everything. The pickups. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this. But yes, dubbed Frankenstrat because it's one of those guitars that was just cannibalized out of loads of different bits and bobs for an iconic sound and an iconic guitarist. Round 8, question 2. This is a bass. I'll probably give you a clue there on the left. Why is it left-handed? But round 8, question 2. This is a Hofner violin bass, and this particular artist, when he was choosing a bass to play, chose it because it looked the same either way upside down, because obviously as a left-handed musician, if he had a right-handed bass it would look kind of weird, so he actually just picked this aesthetic choice. However, so it's stuck and it's become a part of his iconic and his bandmates' iconic makeup. But the Hofner violin bass, German company. Round 8, question 2. Round 8, question 3. The Red Special. This is a custom-made guitar, and when I mean custom-made, it was made from the leg of an old oak table. This guitar was completely made from scratch by this rather ingenuitive and enterprising musician. Quite clever, this guy. You could say he has a doctorate as well. But this is the Red Special, one of the most iconic guitars, and there's like one of a kind. Only he has it. And has played some of the most iconic solos in music history. That's round 8, question 3. Round 8, question 4. So with this very outlandish style, round 8, question 4. This very, very outlandish style, the clothes, the look. There's only a few bands this could be with such kind of cartoonish stage presence. You can get replicas of this. There's a bass company that does make official replicas of the Axe, as it's known as. But which famous musician owns this bass guitar? Round 8, question 5. This is the Cloud. Now there's a couple of versions of this, but this particular blue one went missing for a while and actually came back up at auction a couple of years ago. The most iconic one is white, but this is the blue Cloud that you're looking at. But which famous musician would be playing The Cloud? You can see there with his bellowy shirt. It's not Seinfeld. Round 8, question 5. The Cloud. This is a penultimate one before we go on to the very, very last question itself. Hit submit. You'll get your scores, but stick about and see where you went right and where you went wrong. And for all those guys who are playing a home analog, and I know a couple of people do, total respect for that. Okay, so moving on. Here's your final question of the Big Nerd Music Quiz tonight. Round 8, question 6. Yes, this is a Gibson SG with a distinctive cutaways at the top. Kind of look like devil horns. I always think they look like devil horns. But this is known as the JD SG. I know a lot of musicians are very famous for playing this particular guitar, but this one, they actually stopped making them, and this artist actually, took it up, and they became so popular again, they started making them again. But this is the JD Gibson SG. And it's often played in that kind of that dark cherry red finish as well. Round 8, question 6. Go through them one more time. Frankenstrat, yes. Round 8, question 2. The Hofner violin bass. The Red Special. The Axe. The Cloud. And the JD SG. Before we move on, like I said, yes, it took me quite a while to make this little montage of artists and singers and musicians. But if you look just above Snoop Dogg and to the left and right of Paul McCartney and John Lennon, that's not Pete Doherty. No, that is Decky, who co-wrote the quiz with me. I decided to put him in there as a little bit of an Easter egg. But yeah, Decky is a fine musician in his own right, and I think he deserves to be there amongst the greats. But yes, thanks a million, Decky, for helping me write this quiz. It's been absolutely brilliant. Hope you guys have had fun playing it. Stick about. We're going to do some of the answers. Going to do some more shout-outs here before we move on. Who we got? Andy and Mandy are playing from Wales. Hi to Judy and Tom, and they're playing in Bristol. Good to hear from you. Helly Pender's playing. Hope you're doing good. I'm hoping to get a good score tonight. Good for you. Shout out to Lisa and Pat, who are big fans in Scotland, and that's from Patricia. Good to hear from you. Who else have we got? Jonathan Hayes, me and my girlfriend Aoife Geary are playing the quiz tonight. Any chance for a shout out? There, you've got it. Okay, Nikki Sarah, she says, can you give a shout out for boyfriend Callum, who is jealous of your funky shirts, from Nikki in Belfast. Well, thank you very much. Just got these recently. Amy says she wants to shout out to Dave from Ames and the Big Nerd Music Quiz. Good to hear from you guys. Teresa Ellen says, can you shout out to Darren from Banterflex, who are all playing tonight. Jim, Joe, and Darren from Banterflex are playing each other tonight. Good to hear from you guys. Decky's obviously tuning in Jersey. He's in exile over there. Any more before we move on to the end? And we've got one more shout out here. Baz is playing on her own in Glasgow. Igor the cat is no help. Decky says, let's see, take a shout out to my legion of fans and to my fiance Linda, and that's from Decky, who co-wrote tonight's quiz. Big thanks for him. Thank you so much for playing the Big Nerd Music Quiz. It was really, really cool. I really, really loved making this. We're definitely going to do more of them, because it's hard to condense 48 questions and make them all about music. There's tons more music out there and tons more genres to look at. But yes, Big Nerd Music Quiz, here we go. Here's your answers for tonight's quiz. Get this out of the way very nice and quick. Round 1, the answers. Buggles is the first MTV music video. The Traveling Wilburys was that cool supergroup of Dylan and Harrison and Tom Petty and all. New Wave is the Portuguese translation to Bossa Nova. It roughly is New Wave. Richie Havens opened up Woodstock. Quincy Jones produced Thriller and Off the Wall. And Shakin' Stevens, believe it or not, is the biggest selling singles artist of the 80s in the UK. Look it up, it's true. So the album cover mashup, I know loads of you guys were dying to see this, right? So working from 1 all the way down to 6, by Pink Floyd, Animals, David Bowie, Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. We have The Streets, Original Pirate Material. Put down your aerial. We got What's the Story, Morning Glory. We got Abbey Road by the Beatles, and Mumford & Sons, Sigh No More. But what links them all? The album covers are all locations in London. You've got Battersea Power Station. That is just David Bowie's just off Regent Street there, in a little side street where you got that album cover. The Streets, that's actually up in Islington somewhere thereabouts near Angel. I used to cycle past it going to work. What's the Story, Morning Glory is on Berwick Street in Soho. Abbey Road is in Abbey Road. And the Mumford & Sons is a shop front in Kings Road in Chelsea. So that's the thing that links all those album covers. So the stage names, so we had Lady Gaga, Meatloaf, Pink, George Michael, Bono, and Lord was that last one there. I know that was a bit of a tricky one for everybody. The 27 Club, the order in which these people passed away was Brian Jones, Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, and Amy Winehouse. And those are the dates there in the order in which they passed. Tricky one, that. And moving on, the lyrics one. First one was Africa by Toto. Second was Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. 3 was Starman by David Bowie. 4, You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC. Sweet Home Alabama should have been in the clue there by Leonard Skinner. And Like a Virgin by Madonna, round 5. Round 6, the movie one, we had Talking Heads was Stop Making Sense. Pompeii's were the gig where Pink Floyd did. Detroit is where Eminem's from, and where 8 Mile is set. You had to get Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson to pick up the 2 points from that. Number 4, Hells Angels botched the Altamont concert, and the Four Seasons, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons were the last one. Round 7 answers. So your missing members for your boy bands, you had Take That, Westlife, All Saints, NSYNC, Little Mix, and the Backstreet Boys. So it was Mark was the missing member, Kane, Natalie, Lance, Perry, and AJ were the missing band members there. And you can see all their lovely shining faces looking back at us. And our final questions tonight. So Frankenstrat was owned by Eddie Van Halen. Paul McCartney played the Hofner bass. Brian May, the Red Special. Gene Simmons from Kiss with the Axe. Prince with the Cloud. And Angus Young with the JD-SG. Whew. Hope you've all enjoyed that one, guys. It was an absolute pleasure to do it. I love music. I love playing it, I love talking about it, and like tonight was an absolute pleasure for me to produce and to do. So yes, I'm going to do more of music quizzes. We're going to try to see if I can alternate and put some more of them in. Hope you enjoyed it. Any of your feedback, if you want to hear let me know of any quizzes that you want played. If you want to write a quiz, let me know. Get in touch with all the different social medias here. Use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz. Don't forget to donate to the PayPal and the Patreon. Very important. If you want to support the work that goes into the quiz and keep me in beers, then yes, it all goes back into making the quiz great. And like I said, thank you so much for all the support. There's the PayPal links and the Patreon. Like I said, it's all based on the model of soundness. The Simpsons quiz. I know so many of you guys are looking forward to this, but the Simpsons quiz is happening Monday the 15th of June. Ryan Comiskey is helping me write that, and I can't wait for that one. Next Big Nerd Pub Quiz is this Saturday. It's the General Knowledge Edition, and you can win Big Nerd Pub Quiz t-shirts, and hopefully we're going to be setting up a prize for you to win free beer, so don't miss it. That's the Big Nerd Pub Quiz on Saturday at 8 p.m. There's the rest of the June lineup there for this month. And don't forget to tune into my radio show tomorrow on the 80s Breakfast every weekday from 8 a.m. to 10. Thank you so much again for tuning in to the show. Listen, have a great rest of the week. Stay safe, stay in touch, and hopefully, I'm sorry if I didn't get a chance to give you a shout out at any point in the week. Like I said, my phone gets completely slammed during these things. But thank you again for playing Big Nerd Music Quiz. See you again Saturday, 13th of June, 8 p.m. Stick those dates in your diary. I know so many people are going to be enjoying the Simpsons one. Thanks again to Amy for writing the article in the Morning Observer, and another big thanks to Decky for writing the quiz with me. Thanks again, guys. You guys rock. We'll see you again on Saturday night. Take care and have a great week. Good night.
good job, but I got laid off. I used to have a wife, but she said she had enough. I used to have a car, but it got repossessed. It seemed the Lord had found someone he likes to test. I've lost all the man could lose, that's why I sing the blues. I used to have a home that burned to the ground. I used to have a dog, now there's nowhere to be found. I used to have money to buy what I need. Now the only thing I got is an alimony plea. Got nothing but bad